In the heart of Umuahia, a humble village nestled between lush green hills and the flowing waters of Njaba River, there lived a young woman named Ako. She was a marvel to behold, with skin as smooth and as radiant as freshly poured palm oil. Her large almond-shaped eyes twinkled like stars in the night sky. Ako's hair was a cascade of dark, luscious coils that fell down gently over her shoulder, matching her tall and graceful figure. Her beauty was the talk of the village and even beyond, as men from neighboring villages journeyed just to catch a glimpse of her. However, her beauty came with a pride as tall as the Iroko tree, and her heart, although wrapped in elegance, was full of vanity. Over the years, Ako had turned down so many prospective suitors because she felt that none of them was qualified to be her husband. Chike, a hard-working farmer, was the first to seek Ako's hand in marriage. One day, he arrived at her compound carrying baskets filled with yam, fish, and palm wine. He was well built with strong arms that showed the result of years of toiling in the field. He approached Ako's family with humility and respect, bowing before her parents and making his intentions known. However, when Ako stepped out to greet him, she wrinkled her face in disdain. "A farmer?" she muttered under her breath. "Is this the kind of man my beauty deserves? No, I can't marry him. He's not qualified," she said to herself. She walked up to Chike, her voice cold and dismissive. "I cannot marry you. You spend your days in the field. Your hands are covered in dirt. A man like you is not fit for someone like me," she said. Her parents looked at her in shock, but Ako turned her back and walked into the house without saying a word. Then came Obi. Obi was a successful merchant. He was known across several villages for his wealth, having traded in kola nuts, palm oil, and spices. He arrived at Ako's home with gifts of fine clothes, beads, and ornaments. When he presented himself before Ako, she glanced at him with a slight smile, but it quickly faded. "You traveled too much," Ako said sharply. "A man who is always away from home will leave his wife lonely. I refuse to marry a man who cannot give me his time," she said. Obi was taken aback. "But Ako, I will provide for you. You will lack nothing, I promise you," he said. "I want more than wealth," she retorted. "I want a man who will be there for me," she concluded. Again, Obi left heartbroken and confused. Next was Emeka. Emeka was the village's most skilled hunter. He was next to seek Ako's hand in marriage. He was tall, with a commanding presence. Emeka was admired for his bravery and skill. He brought with him the finest antelope that he hunted delicately as an offering to Ako's family. But Ako, who was ever prideful, saw only faults. "A hunter?" she said, raising her eyebrow. "Your life is too dangerous. What if one day you didn't return from the forest? I need a man who can offer me stability, not uncertainty," she said. Her father sighed deeply. "My daughter, must you find fault in everyone?" he asked. But Ako ignored him because her mind was already made up. Eze was a renowned scholar. He was next to come for Ako's hand in marriage. He was gentle, wise, and well-spoken, with a reputation for settling disputes and offering counsels to elders. He brought books and scrolls as gifts for Ako, hoping to impress her with his intellect. But again, Ako was unimpressed. "I have no interest in marrying a man whose head is always buried in books," so she scoffed. "What use is wisdom if it cannot be shown?" she said mockingly. Eze was hurt by her words. He bowed respectfully and left without saying a word. Ikem, a blacksmith with hands as strong as iron and a heart pure as gold, was the fifth suitor. He has crafted a beautiful necklace from the finest metals and presented it to Ako as a symbol of his love. Ako looked at the necklace, then at Ikem, and snarled. "Your hands are too rough for me," she said. "I want a man with fineness, not a man who spends his days hammering iron." She laughed out mockingly. Her mother pleaded with her, saying, "Ako, my daughter, do not let your pride blind you. Ikem is a very good man. Please accept him." But Ako remained stubborn. "I will marry when I find someone worthy," she declared. Then she left their presence. As time passed, Aku's parents grew increasingly worried. In their village, it was a tradition that the elder daughter must marry before the younger one. Aku's younger sister Uju was already of marriageable age, but no suitor could approach her as long as Aku remained unmarried. One evening, Aku's father called her into the family hut and he began, Aku, we are worried. It is time for you to settle down. You know that Uju cannot marry until you do. I believe you already know this. And now you have rejected every good man who has come your way. Don't you want your sister to marry? He asked. Aku crossed her arms, her face set in defiance. I will not marry any man who is beneath me, Papa, he replied. Her mother sighed deeply. Do not let your beauty lead you into ruin, no, Aku. One fateful day, a tall, striking, handsome man named Obinna arrived at Umuofia. He was like any other suitor who had come before. His clothes were woven from the finest material, and his skin glistered as if touched by the gods themselves. He carried himself with the grace of a prince, and his voice was deep and smooth, like the rolling thunder before the rain. He approached Aku's family and without hesitation asked for her hand in marriage. Aku was immediately smitten. His wealth, his looks, his charm, everything about him was perfect. Immediately, Aku accepted his proposal. However, her parents were concerned. They had never heard of Obina's family, and in their tradition, it was important to investigate a suitor's background before marriage. Please, Aku, her father began, let us look into this man's family before you rush into this marriage. Aku waved her hands dismissively. You were all complaining that I rejected suitors, Abi. Now I have accepted one, and you are still complaining. What do you want me to do? Please be happy for me, she retorted. Her father shook his head, but Aku was firm. See, Papa, you will pay my bride price tomorrow, and there is nothing to discuss anymore, she said, and she walked out of there. True to his words, Obinna returned the next day with everything required by Aku's kinsmen. Unlike other suitors who would bargain and negotiate, Obinna didn't hesitate. He paid the full bride price and fulfilled every demand without complaint. The villagers whispered among themselves, who is this man that does not bargain? They wondered, could he be from a royal home? If it's from a royal home, where is his family? They wondered. Aku's traditional marriage was grand. The entire village came to witness the union, and Obinna spared no expense in making the day memorable. Drummers beat their talking drums, women danced in colorful wrappers, and the air was filled with joy and celebration. Aku wore a bright red waist wrapper with coral beads draped around her neck and wrist. She beamed with pride as she stood beside Obinna, who looked every bit the perfect husband. But beneath the surface, a quiet unease settled in the hearts of her parents. After the marriage ceremony, Aku prepared to live with her new husband. They climbed into his luxurious car, and as the sun began to set, they drove out of the village. For the first few miles, the road was smooth, and Aku felt a sense of satisfaction. She had married the perfect man, she thought to herself. But suddenly, Obinna stopped the car in the middle of nowhere. Obinna turned to Aku with a calm expression. We must continue the journey on foot from here, he said. Aku blinked in confusion. On foot? But why? Where is your home? Obinna smiled, his eyes twinkling with an uncertain light. It is not far, trust me, let's go. And reluctantly, Aku stepped out of the car. They began to walk through a dense forest, the sounds of night creatures echoing around them. Hours passed and they were still walking. The forest grew darker, the air grew colder. Aku's feet ached and fear began to creep into her heart. How much farther? She asked, her voice trembling. Almost there, Obinna replied, his face never fading, his smile never fading. Aku looked over her shoulder and gasped. The path that they had walked was gone. It had been swallowed up by trees and darkness. It was as if the forest had sealed itself behind them. Suddenly, Aku noticed something even more strange. Obinna's left leg seemed to fade into nothingness. Obinna, she cried, stopping in her tracks. What is happening to you? Obinna's smile widened, but he said nothing. Instead, his left hand began to disappear as well. Aku's heart raced. What is this? Who are you, Obinna? She asked. Suddenly, Obinna stopped walking and turned to face Aku. His face was calm, but his words sent a chill down her spine. I am not of this world, Aku. I am a spirit. I have borrowed this body part, but now it is time to return them. Aku's knees weakened. She stumbled back. A spirit? She whispered in horror. Obinna nodded, his body slowly dissolving into the air. I heard of your pride, Aku. I heard how you rejected all the men who came to love you because you thought you were too beautiful for them. So I decided to teach you a lesson. Aku fell to the ground, tears streaming down her face. Please, I beg you. I want to go back to my parents. I was wrong. Please forgive me. Please, but now I see. I know better now. Please forgive me. Don't hurt me. But Obinna shook his head. It is too late, Aku. You must face the consequences of your action, he said firmly. With that, the last of Obinna's body disappeared, leaving Aku alone in the dark, silent forest. Aku wandered through the forest for days. Her once beautiful clothes now torn and dirty. She called out for help, but no one answered. The tree loomed over her like silent judges, watching her every move. Her beauty, which was once her pride, had faded. Her skin was now covered in cuts and bruises from the thorny underbush, and her hair, which was once the crown of her glory, was matted and tangled. Weeks later, I could finally find her way back to Umuofia, but she was no longer the radiant beauty everyone knew. She limped into the village, looking a shadow of herself. The spirit had drained her beauty. The villagers gasped in shock when they saw her. Her father rushed to her side. Aku, what happened to you? Why are you looking like this? Tears filled her eyes. I have been deceived, father. The man I married was not a man at all. He was a spirit sent to punish me for my pride. Aku's story spread throughout the village and beyond. Her tale became a warning to young women about dangers of pride and vanity. Her younger sister Uju married shortly after, but Aku remained unmarried for the rest of her days. She spent her time helping others and living humbly, no longer the proud beauty she once was. Moral lessons from the story. 1. Pride leads to downfall. Aku's pride in her beauty blinded her to the good qualities of the suitors who sought her hand, leading her to a tragic end. Secondly, listen to wise counsel. Aku ignored her parents' advice, which could have saved her from the spirit deception. Also, humility is a virtue. We should know that no matter how beautiful or talented we are, humility is what will truly bring us happiness and peace. Again, looks can be deceiving. Aku was easily carried away by Obinna's outward appearance, not realizing that true worth come from within. This story teaches us that character and humility are more important than beauty and vanity, and that pride, if unchecked, can lead to one's destruction. What other lessons did you pick from this story? Kindly write it in the comment section so that I can learn from you also. Please kindly subscribe to this channel if you've not done so already. Also, like and share this video. Don't forget to put on your bell notification icon so that you'll be the first to know once a new story is posted. And until our next story, bye bye and God bless you. Please subscribe before going. Thank you.